are going to introduction to you rising star of South Asia. He is very well educated. He knows Islam and Christianity very well. He done what they said he can't. He is Doctor.
Alhamdulillah.
Wait a minute. What are you doing, Zakir? You come out. It's not you. Habibi, take him out. Take him out. Sorry, there was some problem. He's Adam Sikher.
Hello everyone, this is your favorite Murtid. Salamul Masih, peace of Christ be with each and every one of you. I hope you guys are having fun. And hello everyone, your favorite Murtad is live once again. I hope you guys were having fun in the last 1 week. And you must have seen my last short video uploaded about Sabil. And I'm gonna post another video tomorrow. Challenge to Nouman Ali Khan. Just a small 5 minutes video as well, just like I did for Mr. Sabil. These people in the West are creating an impact in between children, for children. Sabil, not too much. Nouman Ali Khan, a lot. And quite frankly, I would love to have a nice, sober, well-educated discussion with Nouman Ali Khan because, back in the days when I was a Muslim, as I've said previously as well, I had a great respect for this guy. But what I've seen that with the passage of time, Nouman Ali Khan has become more and more deceptive towards his teaching instead of being more broad-minded. Also, Nouman Ali Khan by himself stated that he used to listen to Dr. Israr Ahmad when he was a young guy. Problem is that right now what he's teaching, most of the times, he is diverting from the commentary done by Dr. Israr Ahmad Khan in a lot of different locations. Not all, but a lot of different locations because he's in the West. So what I have seen that he is now creating a westernized version of the commentary of Quran, which he has already created. So when it comes to the Western Muslims, new believers, he teaches a very different manner of tafsir / commentaries. And for them, he created a concise commentary of Quran. And we're going to talk about this in detail. New Muslims. What is a new Muslim? You need to understand that to accept Islam, you don't need to study the Quran. Even though Quran is no more than 2/3 of the New Testament. If you pick up the New Testament, the Bible, the New Testament only, Quran is less than 2/3 of the New Testament. It's that small of a book. Old Testament is like 3/4 of the total Bible. Okay. And 1/4 of the total Bible is New Testament. And out of the 1/4 portion of the Bible, Quran is 2/3 of it. That's how small Quran is. It has what? 6,000 verses. When we look at Bible, it has over 48,000 verses. That's how small the Quran is in reality. And then again, it has a lot of repeated verses. A lot of repeated stories. The story of Abraham is repeated maybe 5 times in the Quran. Story of Lut is repeated 6 times in the Quran. Story of Moses going to the mountain, looking at the burning bush is repeated 3 times in the Quran. And so on and so forth. So multiple stories are repeated multiple times in the Quran. But then again, when we look at it, it's a very small book, even though that it has so many repeated verses. And obviously, whenever there's a repetition, it has some kind of a different account in different verses. But when it comes to Nouman Ali Khan, he has become more towards acknowledging and accepting a particular belief system based on his own desire and whims. Because he cannot prove to me for sure, no matter from where he picks anything up, he can never prove to me that whatever he is saying is the authoritative verdict on a majority of the subject. Not all, but majority. And we are going to talk about one of them today. So get ready. Let's look at what he's going to teach to a Muslim, and let's see that is there some truth? Yes. When he says something, I still have some respect for him because when he says stuff, he still adds like maybe 50% of the truth in it. Still, that's the beauty of this guy. This guy is still truthful to certain extent. But yet the problem is when you are saying 50% truth, the rest of the 50% lie, it's even difficult to catch in the statement. All right. So now we're going to talk about this. But before I talk about this, anybody who wants to reject me at any time, they are more than welcome to join in to refute me. The link is there in the stream and I'm going to pin it. Please don't join to say hello or hi. Join if you can refute me and if you want to refute me and you have data to refute me. All right. That's the more important stuff. With that being said, let's go into our first discussion, which made me do this whole live stream. There's a Muslima woman who came to Nouman Ali Khan's lecture and she asked a particular question. So let me bring up the Muslima woman and the question. It's a very short question and very short answer. It's like a minute long answer. Let's see what he has to say.
On Bayana TV app. Um, I'm on the concise commentary of the Quran right now, and I wanted to ask, what steps should I take further to continue my education in the Quran?
Keep going.
So if you do not understand the question, because the question is very vague, she said that I am a new Muslim believer and I've started studying the concise commentary of the Quran. You know what a concise commentary of the Quran is? Can anybody tell me? What do you mean by concise commentary? Like Quran has commentaries by Tibri, Qurtubi, Ibn Kasir, Ibn Abbas, Jalaluddin As-Sayuti, Durre Manthur, and so on and so forth. What is this concise commentary of the Quran? You know what it is? It's created by this guy. So Nouman Ali Khan is such a big scholar that he has created a commentary of the Quran and he named it concise commentary. So imagine he is a tafsir writer now. So in the old days, when people would write tafsir, they are muftihan, they are the scholars, and they are the giants. Now someone like Nouman Ali Khan can write a tafsir, and then that tafsir is somehow authoritative. And he's saying, yes, carry on, do it. Listen to what he's saying, going to answer.
Going with a concise commentary. First of all, congratulations, Cindy, and Allah help you. And take your time with it. Just slow down and take your time. Don't be intimidated. There's so much to learn, right? So it's just, this is a life of quality over quantity. Just think of it like that, right? In the meantime, just
This is the life of quality over quantity. See, listen to what his statement is. Check this out.
take your time. Don't be intimidated. There's so much to learn, right? So it's just, this is a life of quality over quantity. Just think of it like that.
Quality over quantity. What do you mean by that? So what you are saying is that your commentary has quality material or rather than quantity. Like, just think about that. What do you mean? Anyone who's listening to your answer will actually think in the same manner. What do you mean by concise? Because it's concise commentary, so it's quality material. Who said so? You? If you meant something else, then I don't know what you mean. Let's see what he says next. Check this out.
Right. In the meantime, just take note of some of the resources that can teach you how to pray, some of the very basic things, and you're fine. If a Muslim in the first few years of their life is just educating themselves in the Quran, they're doing fantastically well. And I'll say that because there are millions, hundreds of millions of born Muslims who haven't gone through the Quran.
That I fully agree. Like, see, I said he will say a lot of stuff in his statements, which are actually absolutely true, without a doubt. Like, that's how. Okay, let me answer this Khalid Bhai, so called. Khalid, Mr. Silly and ignorant person, your idiot father can't even debate with me. He came to Sahil's channel, he started barking instead of having a debate. I asked him, I will put up a timer, have a 1 minute, 1 minute. He started barking like a barking dog. All right, brother. So go tell your daddy to join in if he has guts, and I will give him a timer. By the way, go to my Urdu channel tonight, 8 p.m. India time. You will see a video pop up where your daddy came to Sahil's channel and named me. And what happened with him, you will see in that concise 15-20 minutes long talk where your daddy was barking like a barking dog. And I showed him what I do to the barking dogs. All right. So without even further ado, my friend, just listen, guys. If this so-called Khalid will say something stupid again, please send him to Makkah for another 10 minutes so that he could kiss the black stone and then come back. Maybe his statements will get some, uh, pavitrata. All right. Coming back to our subject. Let me remind it. Sorry, Mr. Nouman Ali Khan. I'm so sorry. Let's see. So he said that most of the Muslims do not even study the Quran fully. Check this out. And I agree with him.
Through the Quran, right? So in a couple of years, you're ahead of several hundred million Muslims that are born in Islam, right? So don't underestimate the value of what you're doing, but at the same time, take notes a little bit. Record your questions. Hey, this was an I had some questions about it or whatever. Keep documenting your journey. Even if you don't find the answer, document your questions. And then when you come back, maybe you'll already have the answer because some later part of the Quran answered some earlier part of the Quran, or the question remained and now you know what to ask about, right? But in the beginning, just go with the journey and take it easy.
All right, that's it. After that, it's just the music and him saying that he's making short videos and all. So now the problem is he said certain things which are right. Most of the Muslims do not know is Quran. They have not studied Quran. Number one. Number two, you should start your journey from somewhere, and then you should keep on working on it. I fully agree with him on that. But I don't agree that you should study concise tafsir. Why? I'm going to tell you later. Number two, Quran is not in a chronological order. It's in a very messed up order. I would say study Quran according to the chronological order, and then you will not have to say the answer will come in the next verses. Yes, why? Because Surah Baqarah, after Surah Fatiha, the first big surah in the Quran, is Surah Baqarah. It was revealed after the Hijrah. So more than half of the Quran is already revealed. And then Surah Baqarah came up. That is why you will get the answer of a lot of stuff in the later part of the Quran, because Quran is not in chronological order. Why don't you start studying the Quran in the chronological order? And I'm going to emphasize this to every single new believer. If you are a new believer, please read the Quran according to chronological order. If you are an old believer and you have studied the Quran previously, please study the Quran according to chronological order, or it is called the order of revelation. Yes, even if you're an older Muslim, study the Quran according to the order of revelation, and study it by reading the early tafsir. For example, Tibri. For example, and Ibn Kasir. It's going to take you a lot of time, but then you will have the true meaning of it. Then you will have the real meaning of it. And then maybe it might take you a year or two to do all that. But let me guarantee you, after you read the Quran according to the chronological order and reading these three Tafsir writers only, not all, just three, Tibri, Qurtubi, Ibn Kasir, I'm dead sure that you will leave Islam or you will become a terrorist. There's no third option. I guarantee you that. Or you will become a deceiver like Nouman Ali Khan. Because, how else can you make money and fame and respect? There's no other way. Literally speaking, all three things you can't combine. You can become Mark Zuckerberg. You might not have fame. You might have fame, but you don't have respect. You might become um, Healthshire, but you don't have respect. You have money, you have fame a little. But if you want money, fame, and respect, you become some person who's teaching Islam in a nice, polite manner where you're deceiving people with lies and deception. You know, you'll have the respect. That's how it works. So I'm going to show you what he said in his tafsir. There's another question by another person asked, and he said, study the Quran topic by topic. Right? Forget that. Let's forget that. Let's go to Surah Baqarah. So, for example, if a person wants to study the concise version of Quran, if a person wants to read the concise commentary of the Quran, let's see some glimpse of the concise commentary of the Quran. This is the concise commentary of the Quran which he has recorded, and he is on his channel. It's one of the playlists. I searched on it, and Mr. Muhammad, your mic and camera is not connected. Unless you connect your mic and camera, I cannot add you in the stream. So please connect your mic and camera, and then I will do that. So let's go to, it's already there. Let's check what he's saying about Surah Baqarah, because that's how he teaches. Check this out.
That's what he should be saying. But the fact that he's saying Alif, Lam, Mim necessarily means he has a teacher. So now even the people that are listening to him are saying, who's his teacher? And what are they teaching him? I mean, it already, and why would they teach him these letters? So it created that question in the mind of the audience. And that's very, very important, because the question will be answered that the teacher is Allah. He's the one who's taught him, right? But the idea that he's actually receiving an education, because otherwise there's no way he would even know what letters signify anyway. The second thing you should know about Alif Lam Mim is its unprecedented usage. This is very important. As we go through the dars today, this will become clearer and clearer, inshallah ta'ala. That the Quran said things in a way that had never been used before. Nobody talked like this. The Arabs were very proud of.
So his first argument is Alif Lam Mim is not Alam. Alif Lam Mim is not Alam. It is Alif Lam Mim. So because Muhammad said Alif Lam Mim, and Muhammad did not said Alam, he said Alif Lam Mim. And then he was a illiterate. He had no knowledge of the alphabets of Arabic. He can't even read the alphabets of Arabic. And he can't even pronounce the alphabets of Arabic because he was an illiterate person. If Arabic alphabets are written in front of him, he will look at them and he'll say, just like somebody who sees Chinese alphabets. Somebody from Pakistan will see Chinese alphabet, or somebody from America, or somebody from Canada, or somebody from India will see Chinese alphabets, and they can't even pronounce Chinese alphabet. Now his basic aim is that when Muhammad said Alif Lam Mim, he specified 3 letters of the Arabic alphabet. So definitely it is from God. The answer is because he said 3 letters and not Alam, which means is in a question mark or have in a question mark or what in a question mark, alam. So because he did not said alam, he said alif lam mim. So by essence, him saying this, and he was an illiterate, he can't even read or write. He doesn't even know the alphabets of the Arabic. Hence, by saying alif lam mim, it proves and signifies that it is from Allah. Because if you think about it, then you will know it is from Allah. That's the basic understanding. Now, the second part that he is giving is that nobody before Islam would say such a thing. No poet or somebody will say certain letters randomly. So because he said certain letters randomly, hence it is from Allah. It's from God. Check this out.
Unprecedented usage. This is very important. As we go through the dars today, this will become clearer and clearer, inshallah ta'ala. That the Quran said things in a way that had never been used before. Nobody talked like this. The Arabs were very proud of their language. They used to think of everybody else as ajam, basically incapable of proper speech.
So he said, yeah, you know, I think very, very clear. Ajam is the one who does not know how to properly speak, in other words, ajmi, right? Not educated well. And Arabs were very proud. So they were never using letters like this. Obviously, you know, if you are a educated person and you are writing a poem or a story, obviously by definition of poem or story, you will not just write alphabets, right? That's obvious. So then if somebody sees alif lam mim in the middle, he'll say this is written by an idiot. But no. Na'udzu billah. You can't say that, because he's not teaching that Muhammad's Quran is from God. So he's not going to say, no, it's not an idiot. Check this out.
You know, retarded even, which is a politically incorrect term nowadays. They thought everybody is less because they don't know Al-Arabiya, you know, and they're the ones that are, you know, that mastered the language. And yet the Quran, from the kinds of verbs that it used, to the kinds of letters that it used, to the kinds of sentences that it used, it said things in a way that had never been heard before.
Really? Yes. If it says alif lam mim, nobody heard this stupidity, right? So let's go forward a little, and I'm going to go to his second point. I'm going to skip some things. Let's check here.
It is actually something somebody had already done, you see. So when the Quran says something like alif lam mim even, this is unheard of. Why would someone speak?
Yeah, this is unheard of. Why would somebody say such a thing?
Speak like this? It would not only create the question, it would actually create a curiosity. This teacher, whoever his teacher is, nobody's ever learned from this teacher around here. Nobody's ever gotten that kind of education before.
By the way, this is not an education. If like, you know, children do that. They will say certain letters when they start reading letters. They'll say certain letters, and you'll be like, kiddo, very well done. Oh, it doesn't mean anything, okay? Kid, my child, it doesn't mean anything. So it doesn't create a question. It creates stupid, idiotic answer, right? It just creates stupidity. It's stupidity. Something which doesn't have a meaning, and it's just letters. So where is the question here? I don't have a question here. I do not. The thing is, these are stupid letters which doesn't mean anything. Check this out.
So the mind is already being prepared to accept the revelation of the Quran just with alif lam mim, just with that. And so when alif lam mim is said, the other thing for us, for believers, because you know this didn't just have benefit for those who did not believe, but even alif lam mim has guidance for those who believe. We know by ijma' of the ulama, even though some have some opinions, that no one knows what alif lam mim means. It's wrong to say it doesn't mean anything. That's wrong to say, because everything Allah says has meaning. Everything Allah says has purpose. But on the other hand, everything Allah gave us, we know is for our benefit. Allah doesn't speak in the Quran. He doesn't speak unless it is something that will teach you and me something. He
So what does alif lam mim means? Nothing.
himself says, "Allama al-Quran." Allama al-Quran. He didn't just say qala al-Quran. He said the Quran. He taught the Quran.
Okay.
But when someone is teaching, who do they have in mind? The student. So everything they teach is supposed to benefit who? The student. Which means with that formula, even when you read alif lam mim, it is supposed to have some kind of benefit for you. But then the question arises, I don't even know what it means. How is it supposed to benefit me? Because in order for me to benefit, I have to understand. And especially when you're sitting in a classroom and the teacher says something and you don't get it, that means you didn't benefit. So you have to raise your hand and say, "What? I don't understand. Could you repeat that? Could you
Thank
explain
you.
it to me?"
Thank you. See, this makes sense, right? So Allah said something which does not mean anything. So why would Allah say such a thing? And that means silly. And then again, it's just letters. It's just letters which doesn't have any meaning. So what's the purpose of it? Right? It is literally foolish.
I need a better explanation. But no matter who you ask in the world, can somebody explain Alif Lam Mim? Could somebody tell me what it means? What's the tafsir of these letters? What's the mystery behind them? Nobody has a clear answer. And nobody has had a clear answer, and it seems pretty obvious. Nobody's going to have a clear answer until you come before Allah on Judgment Day and beyond. And Allah Azza wa Jalla allows us by His mercy to enter into His Jannah and be.
Blah, 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 blah. So now the problem is that Nouman Ali Khan just picked up a verdict of Alif Lam Mim. He just picked up one single verdict and he created a whole video out of it. It's the bayan of Alif Lam Mim or Surah Baqarah, day one. So the 30 days of Ramadan, he's creating a daily bayan. And he's just doing that. Now let's see, is this true? What he said. And a lot of Muslims actually thinks the same. I would say it's not Alif Lam Mim, it is Alam. You have seen this word in Surah Feel as well. Have you? Let me show it to you. It's there in Surah Feel as well. The same Alif Lam Mim is in Surah Feel. Let me bring it up to you guys. There you go.
Alam.
But here it is saying Alam, even though it is Alif Lam and Mim. Just 3 words, 3 letters. Alif Lam Mim. Why are you pronouncing it as Alam here and not in Surah Baqarah? When did this consensus happen which caused the Muslims to not say Alam in Surah Baqarah but say Alam in Surah Feel? Because if you look at the Quran, for the first 300 years of Islam, it never had diacritical marking. It did not have Hamza, Zabar, or Shadda, or Kasra in English. It didn't have any of these things. So what it had, what Quran had, is just letters: Alif, Lam, and Mim. So here you are saying Alif,
Alam.
but in Surah Baqarah, you are not saying Alam, you are saying Alif Lam Mim, because after the 300 years, you put some diacritical marking.
Alif. Lam. Mim.
So you put some diacritical marking on it, and now you're pronouncing it as Alif Lam Mim, even though it's the same 3 letters. Simple 3 letters. Alam. So let's go to Tafsir. All right, let's see. Let's go to Qurtubi or Tibri. Let's go to Tibri. Tibri does not have an English translation, so I'll go into Arabic. So let's go to Surah Baqarah and let's go to Tibri, 310 Hijri. So this tafsir is written after 300 years of Muhammad, one of the earliest tafsir. So Muhammad has died. Muhammad did the hijrah from Medina, from Makkah to Medina, and in Medina he lived for almost 9 years, and then he died. So 300 years after the death of Muhammad, this tafsir is being written, one of the earliest surviving tafsir of the Quran. So here in this tafsir, what should we get? We should get, it is Alif Lam Mim, Haruf Mutaqqiyat, which have to be that separately, and nothing else. If Nouman Ali Khan is truthful, right? Do you agree? If you agree, send me one. If the earliest tafsir written 300 years after the death of Muhammad, would say simply that every Muslim agree in Surah Baqarah we have to read Alif Lam Mim, not Alam, then Nouman Ali Khan is truthful. Otherwise, he's a liar. Hence, here in this tafsir, if you agree, it should have one. You should send one. If you agree that this tafsir should only have that we have to read Alif Lam Mim as Alif Lam Mim and not Alam. So I have two ones. Thank you so very much. All right. The rest are simply sleeping, I think. But now let's see. Let's see what does it says. Thank you. Now people are sending ones. They are a little late. But let's see what it says. Very important. Let's start reading. I'm going to read a couple of pages for you so that nobody will have any doubt. And it says, Qala Abu Ja'far. Abu Ja'far said, Tibri pronounced himself as Abu Ja'far. He says, Ikhtilafu tarjumatul Qur'an fi ta'wil. He says that according to different translators of the Quran, this Alif Lam Mim or Alam has different meanings and they differ with each other. Ikhtilaf, they have difference of opinion in the meaning of Alif Lam Mim. Okay, what is it? It says Alif Lam Mim Faqala Baz, according to some, Huwa Isma'u min Isma'ul Quran. This is one of the names from the names of Quran. Okay, these are from the name. This is one of the name from the names of Quran. So it has to be pronounced as Alam, not Alif Lam Mim, because it's a name. It's an ism. It's a name. Okay. Zikra min Kala Zalik. The people said like that is Al Hasan bin Yahya. Kala Akhbarna Abdur Razak. Then said Abdur Razak said Akhbarna Muammir said Qatada said Fi Qawli Alam Alam Kala Ism min Ismaul Quran. This is one of the names of Quran. Right? Then another chain of narration, Hasana al-Musni bin Ibrahim said from Abu Hazaifa Musa bin Mas'ud, Hasana Shabil an Ibn Abi Najiyah, and Mujahid Qal, Alam Ism min Ismaul Quran. This is from one of the names of Islam, of Quran. And then he said another chain of narration. Hassana Qasim bin Hassan said, Al Hussein bin Dawood said, Hassana Hajjaj and Ibn Jarir said, Ism min Ismaul Quran. Three different chain of narrations said this is from the names of Quran. Waqala Baz, and some said, Huwa Fawatiqul Yatul al Quran. This is one of the drive, how do I pronounce it, opening, like Fawatih is opening, or the opening when it is used as in statement, is like the opening statement of the Quran, right? This is Allah uses to open the Quran, right? But the problem here is the Surah Baqarah is not the first surah, so how can it be the opening? But fair enough. Zikra min Kala Zalika Hadsana Harun. Harun said, Adris said, Al-Asim said, Al-Kufi said, bin Abdul Muhammad al-Baharihi said, Ibn Jarir said, Mujahid said, this is one of the opening of Quran. And then Hasna Abu Naim said, Sufyan said, Mujahid said, Kala, it's the opening. Hadsana Ibrahim said, Ishaq said, Yahya said, Sufyan said, Najis said, Mujahid said, Alif Alam, Hamim, Al-Mas, Waswad. All of these are the opening of Allah for the Quran. So Alam, Ham, Almas, and Swad are all the openings from the openings of Quran, because there are multiple surahs starting with different letters which apparently kind of don't have meaning according to Muslims. But then again, this is not Alif Lam Mim. Now it is an Alam because it's an opening something, right? Now Al-Qasim bin Hassan said, Al-Hussein said, Hijaz said, Jarid said, Hadith Harun said, bin Adris said, Babaz, Huwa Ismatu Surah. This is the name of the surah. Okay. Now Alam is the name of the surah. This is the third opinion. And how many people said Zikra min Zalik? And the people who said like that, Yunus bin Abdul Allah, Anabna bin Abdullah bin Wahab, Salat bin Abdul Rahman bin Zaid bin Aslam, uh, Alam Zalik al Kitab. And now it is Alam, which is Tanzil, that it is referring to Alam Zalik al Quran. Is that the book? So basically, these are two verses, it is one verse. Alam Zalik al Kitab. Zalik means that, Kitab means book, Alam is a question mark. For example, Alam Tara, have you not seen? Is that not happening? Is it, is you not, did you not see? Kind of. Alam Zalik al Kitab. Is that the book? So it's a statement. So you have to read it Alam as the Alam meaning. And it's the Tanzil. For example, Alam Tilka. Right? No, Al-Mar Tilka. Forget that. Fakala Innama huwa isma surah. These are the name of the surah. Fakala Baz, Huwa Isma Allah al Azim. And then some people said, this is the name from the names of Allah. So if it is the name, it is one of the name of Allah. How can it be Alif Lam Mim? It has to be Alam. So this is the fourth opinion, that this is one of the names of Allah. Huwa Isma Allah al Azim. This is one of the names of Allah. Who said that? Muhammad bin al-Masni said that. Abu Aman said that. Shubayt an Ismail said that. Saddi said that. Mahadani said that. Kala Abdullah Fazikra Nahwa said that. Hadsani al-Mishni Kala Hadsana Ishaq bin Hibaz an Abaidullah bin Musa an Ismail an Shabi Kal. That this is the opening of the surah Min Isma Allah. This is the opening of the surah, and this is one of the names of Allah. So now you have this opinion which combines two narrative, that this is the opening of the surah and it is one of the names of Allah. It's not just the opening of surah, but it is also the name of the surah. So it's Alam. Just like in Surah Fil, it starts with Alam Tara Kayfa Fa'ala Rabbuka bi ashabil fil. Just like that, this is one of the names of Allah with the opening. Faqal Abbas, and some said, Huwa Qasam Akasam Allah bihi huwa min al Isma. And then some said that I swear and I swear. No, Huwa Qasam Akasam. So it's an oath of that Allah's oath. So it is the Qasam which Allah swears by his own name. Okay. Now it's Allah swearing by his own name. It's a sixth opinion. And then so on. Qala Hadsana Abdullah bin Saleh, Hadsana Muawiyah bin Saleh, Hadsana Ali bin Abi Talha, an Ibn Qasam Qasam Allahu bihi wa huwa min Ismallah. This is one of the names of Allah, and Allah is swearing by his own name. Hadsana Yaqub bin Ibrahim, Qala Hadsana Abi Alila, Qala Hadsana min Akrama. Alif Lam Mim is just a qasam. So it's just a swear that when you say by Allah, I will do this tomorrow. So Allah is doing, when Allah is saying Alif Lam Mim, Alam, Allah is swearing by his own self, and then he starts the surah. So now what we have seen is, in the first page of Tabari, it gives you 7 different opinions, and none of the opinion says that these are the haruf or letters that you have to read separately. None of them. You just read 7 different opinion with multiple chain of narrations, and none of the opinion actually says that you have to read it as Alif Lam Mim. And because somehow Muhammad said Alif Lam Mim and he was an illiterate person, hence this is from Allah. None of these opinion actually says that. Why Nouman Ali Khan is explicitly just saying that this has to be read separately. Why is it that he picked up a particular statement and then he went through it? This is how you deceive people. You don't want people to know the reality. You want to tell people a certain narrative so that they somehow will accept Quran to be miraculous. So he made something so basic and stupid that people in the time of Muhammad, near the time of Muhammad, were fighting and arguing that what is the true meaning of this word. He presented it as a miraculous divine statement. You see how they deceive people. And then the Western people will listen to Nouman Ali Khan's style of people, and they will accept Islam, and they think Islam is so good. And in reality, they have been deceived and lied to. They've been deceived and lied to. Let's go to page number 2. Let's see what page number 2 says. So we have seen 7 opinions. Now the 8th opinion. Let's see what it is. Wakal Abbas, and some said, Huwa haruf muqatti'at min al-isma. And then now some said, these are haruf muqatti'at, which means these are words that are separate words. Means now this is the 8th opinion, which says that we have to read them separately as alif lam mim. These are the haruf muqatti'at, so you have to read them separately. 8th opinion. Not the first, not the second, not the third, not the fourth, not the fifth, not the sixth, not the seventh. 8th opinion. How many people said that? That these are the haruf min zalik la maina, which does not have any meaning. Ghair maina, which doesn't have any meaning. Or haruf akhir, no meaning whatsoever. Just say alif lam mim. Zikra min kala zalik. The people who said that is Abu Karib, Hadsana Waqai, Sufyan bin Waqi, Hadsana Abi Ibn Abi Sharik, Anta bin Saib, Abi Azha, and Ibn Abbas. Alif Lam Mim. Now, Faqal Annallahu Alam. Now, somebody write it over here. A liar knows best. Let me see. There we go. Normal is overrated. There you go. There you go. That's here. So some said only Allah knows. Nobody else knows. Only Allah knows. Only Allah knows. You know, no, normal is overrated. Now your answer is there as well. This is the 9th opinion. All right, let's read what is the 10th opinion. 10th opinion is also only Allah knows. Okay, I'm not going to read the names now. Let's see the 11th opinion. Haruf shak haruf ba al isma Allah Jalla Sana. Wah. So every time you go somewhere, you will have a different opinion. So these letters are some letters from the names of Allah. So these are some letters from the names of Allah. Haruf Hajja, Haruf e Hajja of Asma'ullah Jalla Sana. Like the glorified Allah's names, some haruf ashak min haruf hijja ismaullah. So from the spellings of the name of Allah, these are just some letters. So Allah's name has so many letters. Okay, let's say a person name is oxymoron, and you take X, Y, and O from it. Okay, and now I have taken O, X, and Y from oxymoron, and I'll say, there you go. These are some letters from the name of Allah, and Allah's name is oxymoron. Okay, so this is what it is saying. This is the 11th opinion. And now I'm tired. Like, I don't know how many opinions do I have to read. Opinion after 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 opinion. And then page number 3 and page number 4 and page number 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So in just 1.5 page, we have read 11 different opinions. And you're telling me that Nouman Ali Khan knows best, that these letters, according to Muhammad and everybody at the time of Muhammad, thought that they are harufe muqatti'at, that they have to be read separately, and it's a question and it's not a word. Where does he get, like, did Jibril just came to him and explain him this? Like, how much of a lie that you will do, how much of a deception that you will do, that you will hide the proper, that these words are there. And all the scholars of Islam are so ignorant about these that nobody knows what it means. They are guessing about it, because we have multiple chain of narrations telling different meaning of this word, and nobody knows the true meaning of this word, and we are in doubt what is the meaning, because we do not have the original Quran, we do not have the proper reading of Quran. And all of these Qurans were written 300 years after the death of Muhammad, and all of these Qurans had diacritical marking put after 200, 300, 350 years after Muhammad. So we have no idea what these words are actually meant for. This is the reality of it. So God of so-called the universe, named Allah, has sent some statement supposedly in Quran, and none of the Muslim knows what it is, except that after 500, 600 years, they agreed upon something. Let's go to 600 years after Muhammad. Let's go to Hazrat Ibn Kasir. Let's check what he says. Let's go to Ibn Kasir. Now, Ibn Kasir is what? 774 Hijrah. So 700 years after the death of Muhammad. He also says, اختلاف المفسرون في حروف مقطعات التي في أوائل السورة. He says that these haruf muqattiyat, he starts by saying that these are haruf muqattiyat, means you have to read them separately. So he starts by saying that you have to read them alif lam mim, not alam. But there is difference in opinion. So he first gives you a narrative, and his first narrative is that you have to read them separate, right? Because he did not say ikhtilaful mufassirun fi alam. No. He said ikhtilaful mufassirun fi haruf muqattiyat. He said there is a difference of opinion. What does this separate reading letters means? So you are not supposed to say, oh, you are not supposed to say oxy when you extract O, X, and Y from oxymoron. You're not supposed to say oxy, but rather you are supposed to say O, X, Y. So he started by saying that it has to be read separately. It has to be pronounced separately. So he built a narrative 700 years after the death of Muhammad. So up to 300, 400 years after the death of Muhammad, people were reading it as alam, people were reading it as alif lam mim, so on and so forth. But 700 years later, Ibn Kasir started a narrative that you do not have to read them as alif lam mim, you have to read them as alam. Reverse. You do not have to read them as alam, you have to read it as alif lam mim, because these are haruf muqattiyat, means that letters which should be read separately. And then he gives different narratives. For example, these are the names of the surah, okay, and Abu Qasim, Rasul Khan, and so on and so forth. That Annahu Kala Alam Waham Walmas Waswad. These are the openings of the Quran by Allah. So he's now giving certain references from the Tibri, but then he just changed the basics, right? So instead of 10 pages, this is 6 pages. So he omitted some of the stuff from Tibri, created his narrative and started the statement that this has to be read separately. Whereas Tibri never said that they have to be read separately. But now comes almost 1200 years later. And almost 1200 years later, you comes to Dr. so-called Nouman Ali Khan. And what does he says? Let's see. Let's see what he says. He creates a narrative. He builds a narrative on top of a narrative. You know, he builds a narrative on top of a narrative. Oh my goodness, what just builds a
with no letters is because they're learning to read.
Give me a second.
Tell them A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. These words make no sense to them. These letters have no value to them. What does that even mean? What do you mean W? What is that? I have never heard this word before. Because the only time you worry about letters is when you worry about spelling. And the only time you worry about spelling is if you're going to read or you're going to write. Yes? And that's something the Prophet ﷺ has no access to. So when he recites Alif, Lam, Mim, it already sends shockwaves in that community. Wait, who taught him letters?
Now, I've already answered this, but now after reading the Tafsir, how does he know that Muhammad said Alif, Lam, Mim and he did not said Alam? How did he know? Because Tibri, who's writing 300 years after that of Muhammad, he's saying nobody knows whether these are haruf muqattiyat, means separately reading words, letters like A, W, X, Y, or Alif, Lam, Mim, or it's Alam. He clearly said that. Nobody knows. And I read 1.5 page, and there you saw almost 12 opinions, a dozen opinions, and then there are like up to 10 pages, and I don't want to read all of them and bore every one of you over here. But here he just starts by saying it sent shockwaves because Muhammad just said Alif, Lam, Mim. My kid who is 3 years old will say A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, and A, B, C. It sent shockwave in the hearts and minds of the parents. MashaAllah, my kid can recite the whole ABCD, but Muhammad can recite only 3 letters. Alif, Lam, Mim. And it sent shockwaves in the hearts and minds of the Mushrikeen Makkah. How stupid it is, man. Like, there has to be some level of stupidity. He's talking as a well-educated person to the well-educated people, and they are all listening to him, and they can't even, like, their mind is blocked. Why? These people will come to us and they'll say, wow, what a great thing Alif Lam Mim is. How can Muhammad write Alif Lam Mim when he doesn't know Arabic? And like, how stupid it is. Check next.
I thought he's me. If he's saying Alif, Lam, Mim, it must mean he has a teacher. Because you can't learn those on his own. If he doesn't know, he should just be saying Alam. Alam.
Exactly. He said Alam. How do you know he said Alif Lam Mim to begin with?
You know, that's what he should be saying. But the fact that he's saying Alif, Lam, Mim necessarily means he has a teacher.
Because instead of full letter, instead of full words, because he said Alif, Lam, Mim, 3 letters instead of full sentence, necessarily he has a teacher. So if my kid is stating full sentences, then he doesn't have a teacher. But if he is saying X, M, O, then he has a teacher. Muhammad did not stated the whole Alif, Ba, Pa, Ta, Sa, Jim, Ha, so on and so forth. No, he did not set the whole letters of Arabic one by one in a sequence. He just said 3 random letters, assuming this verdict is true and there is no other verdict. But we have seen there are 12 different verdicts in 1.5 pages and there are 10 pages. On the average, if one page gives you 8 verdicts, 10 pages will give you 80 verdicts. So there are 80, okay, let's say 50 verdicts. Easy about Alif Lam Mim. How do you accept one verdict out of 50 verdicts? And then you made it magnificent in front of your audience. And I don't know how these Western people get deceived by these kind of commentaries done by this kind of a person. And by the way, guys, like I said before, I used to get inspired by him when I was a Muslim. Now I have challenged him openly. I have seen a couple of Muslims who came into live chat and they were just doing some chat jihad over there, but they have no guts to click the link and join in. I don't know why they don't have the guts to click the link and join in. Because if you are a Muslim and I said to refute me, click the link. But the problem is that they can see I'm showing each and everything on screen. So how can they defend this thing? They can't because they have no knowledge of it. They've never studied it. That is why in the beginning I said I accept Nouman Ali Khan's narrative that every Muslim should study the Quran, but not with the concise tafsirs, but with the at least early 3 tafsirs, Tabari, Qurtubi, and Ibn Kasir. It's going to take them a couple of years to go through the whole Quran because obviously one verse, Alif Lam Mim, Alam, one verse has 10 pages in Tabari, 6 pages in Ibn Kasir, and maybe 8 pages in Qurtubi. So one verse has 22 pages of explanation. Number one. Number two, they have to read it according to the revelation order, not according to the current order. Because if they read according to the current order, they will not be able to comprehend it. Why? Because Surah Baqarah was revealed after the Hijrah. Chapter number 9, Surah Toba, is the last surah by revelation. So after the last surah, you are reading some surahs which came in the early time of Islam. So there is no point reading the Quran in the current order. You have to read it according to the revelation order so that you will know how Islam progressed and deceived people when they were less in number and when they were high in number. So this is a very, very important thing. With that being said, I'll end my session today over here. I hope you guys liked it and you got the knowledge and information. And I will do more streams on Nouman Ali Khan. This is me calling in Nouman Ali Khan. And tomorrow, almost the same time, a little earlier, uh, I'm gonna release a challenge video for Nouman Ali Khan as well. So you can go and put the link in Al Bayyana channel, that is his channel. That I'm calling him out. He can invite me there, or he can come to my channel. Doesn't matter. I'll go to his channel. He is a person to whom we can talk respectfully. That's how it is. And I don't have any issue going to a person who speaks respectfully. So with that being said, yeah, send the link to him because at the end of the day, this guy is deceiving so many people. He's a deceiver, just like Allah, because Allah said Allah is the best of all deceivers. He's the Khairul Makirin. He's the best of all deceivers. And whoever follows this kind of a God, he has to deceive people in essence. Has to. And that is why, we have to expose this deception. It's our duty to expose this deception. Because the ones who can expose these deceptions, if they won't do it, then who will at the end of the day? So with that being said, please do like and share and subscribe. And let me just take Lily's super chat. Lily, thank you so very much for your support to this channel as always. Appreciate it. God bless you. Thank you so very much. And then we have from Balas Balasubramani S. Man, your name is very difficult for me to pronounce. I'm sorry. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed it, liked it. Please do this favor, share it. Share it as much as you can with as many people as you can. And anybody who wants to have a rebuttal, instead of giving me a comment after the stream ends in the comment, come on, man. The link is there. When I'm live, is standard for me, it's standard time. Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thursdays. Mondays, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. See, Mondays and Thursdays, 2 days. I go live. Join in. What's the problem? Instead of commenting, hey, you are this and you are that, and you showed this wrong and you showed that wrong. My friends, prove me wrong over here live. I'm giving you all the option. I go live, I put the link in the live chat for every one of you to click it and join in and prove me wrong. Have a respectful, honorable discussion if you can. Because most of you do not do are able, most of you are not capable enough to do a respectful discussion. That's the problem. With that being said, we have another friend of ours, Easy Pay Global, sent an AED 25, said, Adam, keep doing the great work. Love your deep knowledge, finding the truth. Keep the good work. May Almighty protect you and your family from all evils. Thank you. Amen. Appreciate it, brother. Thanks a lot. Guys, have a blessed time. Take care. Wherever you are, have a blessed day, evening, or night, wherever you are. See you on Monday. Yeshua Akbarul Azim.